Welcome to Discovery Watch with John Kaiser.
I'm your host, Jim Goddard. Welcome back to the show, John.
Jim, it's a pleasure to be back.
John, Sun Metals dropped sharply after reporting results for the Stardust project. What was the market so upset about?
Well, the market was unhappy for two reasons, and both of them are valid. One is the company's misguided reporting strategy about which we complained back in early October, and that was this thing of always reporting about whatever it was that was going on 6 to 8 weeks ago, and not really letting the market know what we're working on now, what's coming down the pike, what we should be, expecting. And the reason that Steve Robertson gave for that is they wanted to discourage undue speculation about outcomes, be they positive or negative. And the other was that, the results for the 421 zone were really bad in terms of market expectations. So when we last talked about it October 11th, they had just published an update on October 3rd. And there had been absolutely nothing since then. They had reported assays for holes up to 442, and indicated that they were working on 448 and 449, but didn't really tell us where these holes 443 and onwards were located. We assumed that they were marching north because of the 421 zone strikes to the north, has sort of a plunge, and it's been getting deeper there. So we figure, in the northern direction, that's where the Peter McGaugh model says that a skarn deposit gets closer to the heat source, and therefore the zone should get bigger and better with better grades. And so the hope was that as they got closer to the interpreted heat source, this zone would blossom. And in 2018, it was late in the drill season that they pulled that hole number 421, which is why it's called the 421 zone, which was 100 meters of really, really good copper, zinc, gold, silver mineralization that was worth, $300 to $400 per ton, perfect for underground, double what they had historically found in the Canyon Creek skarn, and certainly much thicker intervals. But what they didn't really tell us was that they were missing from that moment onwards. In fact, in October, they managed to raise $6.1 million through a combination of charity flow-through and regular flow-through between 25 and 31 cents, and they made all this noise about we're going to drill right through winter. But during October, they already knew that the holes stepping north of the last reported holes were not hitting any mineralization. In fact, they were all dusters except for one, which nipped a small intersection. And what had happened is not only was the zone plunging, but it had encountered down-dropping faults to the north. And the model is probably still correct that the zone gets bigger and better as you march further north, but it has been dropped deep, way too deep to reach with the current drilling setup they have. And they'd stopped drilling wrapped up the field program on December 20th, and finally on Monday, the roundup week, big conference week in Vancouver, they put out the results, and the market was understandably pissed because it was almost 4 months since they had last reported anything. They'd given us no guidance of what they were really working on, and in fact, during this whole time, they were coming up empty. They did report one hole, which was to the south. That was good. It shows that it's still going strong in the southern direction, and the market was a bit unhappy that they didn't pursue more in the southern direction. It's shallower there, so I guess the fear is that it just fizzles out because it's plunging up rather than plunging down. But what we now see is 150 meters of strike, basically a cigar that's about 150 meters long, 75 meters high, 50 meters wide, and at a mass of sulfide specific gravity of 4.0, you get a tonnage footprint of about 2 million tons. And that's another reason for the market's unhappiness, because the hope was to get this project up over sort of 5 million tons, and this clearly is not the critical mass that we need. The company is now going through all the data, putting together their detailed sections, figuring out what sort of a tonnage model they have. They have $3.8 million left. They did not spend it all in this final foray of drilling dusters, so they can make a comeback, but the stock has dropped to sort of 10-12 cents, and it is a big disappointment for the market. It is still a significant high-grade discovery, and I've got it as now as a bottom fish because we have to learn from them what are they going to do to grow this thing bigger from here onwards.
We'll have more with John Kaiser right after the break.
Cypress Development Corp. is developing a world-class lithium resource in the heart of Clayton Valley, Nevada. The size of the resource makes the Clayton Valley project a premier asset with the potential to impact the future of lithium supply. Cypress Development Corp. trades on the TSX Venture Exchange, symbol CYP, the OTCQB, symbol CYDVF, and on Frankfurt, symbol C1Z1. For more information, please visit our website, cypressdevelopmentcorp.com.
Media recognition from Bloomberg, Reuters, recycling trade publications. Patented process for 100% recovery of critical metals, including cobalt, lithium, nickel, manganese, aluminum. American Manganese is focused on recycling lithium-ion batteries for electric vehicles. American Manganese trades on the TSX Venture, AMY, the US, AMYZF, and Frankfurt 2AM. For more information, visit AmericanManganeseInc.com or phone me, Larry Ray, at 778-574-4444.
Welcome back. We're speaking with John Kaiser. John, Forum Energy Metals announced that Rio Tinto got the go-ahead to build a winter road to the Janus Lake camp. Is this good news?
Jim, it really is good news. Last year, Rio Tinto spent $3 million on the Janus Lake project. It flew a big geophysical survey, a mag survey over the entire 52-kilometer strike, but it focused most of its 5,000 meters of drilling in the area of the known showings. And this was done to sort of figure out, how does this mineralization work? Well, how does the stratigraphy dip and that, and how does it correlate to the magnetic data that they had assembled? Because they're of the view that this is an entire district, a world-class district, and the geophysics had demonstrated lots of other mag targets with similarities to the ones in the Janus Lake area. But because of the nature of the deal, which allows them to earn up to 80% by spending $30 million, the $3 million they spent in 2019 meant they didn't really have to spend any money during 2020. And that was going to be a bummer for Forum Energy Metals, because if it was just sitting there waiting for Rio Tinto to resume in 2021, well, it would be tough to get any sort of market interest in the company. And it does have the Love Lake platinum palladium group metals project, but that's early stage and 100%, and so they would need to fund that, but they didn't want to be stuck in this 5 to 10 cents range. Now, late last year, Rio Tinto started permitting for a winter road. And this winter road is a spur off the main highway up there that serviced this part of northern Saskatchewan. It would be about 99 kilometers, and you would build this in January when everything's frozen, and you basically have a 2 to 3 month window to move goods into your location. And this is what's done from Yellowknife up to the diamond mines in the Northwest Territories. Once it starts to thaw, well, then it's over. So the Rio Tinto had not really told Forum what its plans were, because if this permit wasn't granted in time to build this winter road, well, then really maybe it was going to do something in the summer, but it wasn't going to commit to anything. But now they are that they have the permit in time to build the road and move stuff in. They're going to set up a 65 to 80 person camp in that Janus Lake area, from which they can stage exploration over the whole Janus Lake property. And this shows that they see the big picture potential It gets rid of concern that last year was a $3 million test to see if it's worth proceeding with this. So there'll be a lot of activity. We don't know yet what the budget is for 2020, but if you're moving in a 65 to 80 person camp, they're obviously not going to sit there and drill a few holes under some outcrop. This is very good news for Forum Energy. It may also get some good news from its Fur Island project, which it optioned to Orano, Canada, up to 70% late last year. And Orano used to be called Ariba. It's the French nuclear power company, and it has the Rabbit Lake mill in the sort of northeastern part of the Athabasca Basin, and they need some mill feed down the road. So they did this deal with Forum Energy on Fur Island, which is at the northern edge of the Athabasca Basin. They're going to drill about 3,000 meters, 12 holes. The market is giving zero value to the uranium potential of Forum Energy, which used to be its prior incarnation was all about uranium. So maybe the junior will get lucky, and since this is more of a Orano needs ore feed for its Rabbit Lake operation. If they get something there, they will probably fast track it. Uranium is still below $25 a pound, but this would be shallower deposit up in the northern part of the rim of the Athabasca Basin, so would not be the sort of like MacArthur River, which is still shut down while we have these weak prices. And the other thing is, now that we have this Rio Tinto commitment, the company can start marketing its Love Lake Platinum Palladium story. They staked this last summer. They have Larry Halbert on board to rethink this whole Swan Lake complex. It has received exploration in the past from other groups, and there is evidence of platinum palladium in this system, but it's never had a really hard look. And palladium hit $2,500 an ounce in the past few weeks. It basically has an exponential looking chart. It's pulled back to $2,200 in the midst of all this concern about the coronavirus. But the palladium supply problem is not going to go away. Palladium is high because the car companies have switched away from diesel, which relied on platinum for its catalytic converters, whereas the gasoline-based engines rely on palladium. And there's been a sort of slowdown on supply from the Norilsk operation in Russia, while they do a major expansion that's not going to be done until 2022, 23. So we have a period of elevated palladium prices during which nobody can really mobilize new supply. So we're starting to see the juniors in Canada reviving these old layered intrusive complexes where there is platinum palladium present, usually in conjunction with nickel. And these companies are starting to raise money, and for Forum Energy, it picked up this project for staking with Rio Tinto's Janus Lake play, potentially attracting long-term investors hoping for the big world-class copper discovery there. They may also then attract funding for the nearer-term platinum palladium bubble that is emerging now in the Canadian sector.
John Kaiser's closing comments right after this.
Avon Resources Limited is a gold exploration company with significant projects in British Columbia and the Yukon, trading on the TSX Venture Exchange, symbol ABN, and the OTCQB, symbol ABNAF. Surrounded by world-class gold deposits and mines, Avon's 23,000 hectares Forest Kerr Gold Project is located in the heart of the Golden Triangle in northwestern BC. For more information, visit us at avonresources.com.
Engineer Gold Mines is focused on the exploration and development of the historic high-grade Engineer Gold Mine situated 32 kilometers southwest of Atlin, British Columbia. Engineer Gold Mines is fully permitted for surface and underground exploration with the 2019 drill program now underway. Engineer Gold Mines Limited trades on the TSX Venture Exchange, symbol EAU. For more information, please visit us at engineergoldmines.com.
Welcome back. We're speaking with John Kaiser. John, Nevada Exploration released the first of its monthly updates for drilling on its Southgrass Valley project in Nevada. Was there anything interesting in it?
The press release, if you just casually read it, it's a whole bunch of mumbo-jumbo about rock types and the 5 holes that they've drilled so far, and you would sort of shrug, well, there's no assays, there's nothing there to think that there's going to be any sort of gold mineralizations when the assays do come. So it looked like a throwaway news release, but it was, in fact, a very significant news release. Last year was a torturous process of drilling these deep core holes that took forever, and everybody was waiting with bated breath. Is there going to be any gold in them? No, there never was more than 50 ppbs, which is simply anomalous gold. We're all the Carlin Pathfinders, but that's not what you're going to mine. But they did demonstrate this very large North Carlin district scale, comparable lower plate altered window, and the belief is that there is got to be gold holed up somewhere. You just got to find the right trap rocks. And so this year they started a program of drilling RC holes, and this is to a large degree for grade. Last year it was to build a geological context, and they did generate from this several targets. And what today's news release did was confirm that 2 of these targets, or 3 of them, are actually valid, that their extrapolation of the geology encountered in the core holes does indeed map to these other targets. The first is that Freddy target, which is way off in the northwestern corner, and they did some sort of 850 meter step outs onto the gravels, and yes, indeed, the lower plate, the altered lower plate is still present. They've got another hole moving 500 meters to the east. That's down to over 500 meters right now and still drilling. So the system is still extending in that direction. But what I found most important about today's news release is that they got a second rig onto the property. It's a smaller rig, an owner-operated rig, and in the southern part of the property, they have the waterfall target and the Golden Gorge target. And the waterfall target sits on top of what the magnetics say is a granite blob that's not going to have any gold in it. And the Golden Gorge is basically on the edge of this granite blob. And the hypothesis is that this granite blob is more complex. It's not just one big intrusion that came there, and that when you drill through the gravels, all you're going to hit is gravel. In the waterfall area, the hole that they drilled there, it intersected some volcanic stuff that's not very interesting, but then it got into a meaningfully thick horizon of lower plate altered carbonates, and then into the granite. And this confirms their idea that this is much more complex. It's actually the top of a Jurassic intrusion, similar to the Gold Strike stock in the North Carlin district, where the lower plate rocks into which it intruded have not been fully eroded away. And so this is an ideal environment both on the top and along the flanks. And the holes they drilled into Golden Gorge also showed that, yes, we have the lower altered lower carbonates right up against the intrusion. We've got marbleization showing that, yeah, the heat engine did cook the rocks around there. And the gold mineralization would have come in 120 million years later, about 30 million years ago. That's when these Carlin-type hydrothermal systems hit northern Nevada. And so this is all a structurally prepared setting. Now the key is to find gold. Maybe these holes will have it, but they have confirmed that this strategy of drilling these shallower RC holes is confirming the geological model. And best of all, in this southern part of this South Grass Valley project, this is where all their golden groundwater sample values originate, along with the arsenic and the thallium that they picked up by doing the sampling in the gravels. This is exactly where you would expect it to come from, and now they have confirmed that, yes, it is the right rocks that could have gold deposits. And so, to me, it's a pretty exciting development. I don't really want to get back into this breath-holding thing I got sucked into last year, but it is a sign that as they keep drilling more and more of these holes as part of this program, this may be the year that they demonstrate that this South Grass Valley project is pregnant with gold mineralization, not just a Carlin-style hydrothermal system.
John, thank you so much for the update.
You're welcome, Jim.
We've been speaking with John Kaiser, his website, kaiserresearch.com. I'm Jim Goddard.
Comments made on Discovery Watch are an expression of opinion only and should not be construed in any manner whatsoever as recommendations to buy or sell any financial instrument at any time. Archived online at howstreet.com. Discovery Watch is a production of How Street Media Incorporated.